What if I told you that a young boy delivering newspapers would one day become one of the richest men in the world? Warren Buffett's story isn't just about money, it's about vision, discipline, and the power of long-term thinking. In this video, we'll dive into the early years of Buffett's investing journey, how he turned small opportunities into millions, and the key lessons that can help you build wealth too. Whether you're an aspiring investor or just curious about his path to success, stick around. This is a story you don't want to miss. Warren Buffett, one of the world's greatest investors, made his first million by 31. This video breaks down the key events, traits, and investments that fueled his success. Many believe copying Buffett's current stock moves is the key, but that's a mistake. Managing billions at Berkshire Hathaway is a different game. In his early years, he built wealth using strategies better suited for small investors. If he were starting today, he'd do things differently, and so should you. Buffett wasn't handed success. At 6, he hustled door to door, selling gum for pennies in profit, just 50 million packs to his first million. Buffett sold Coke door to door, buying 6 bottles for 20 cents and selling them for 25 cents. As a boy, he declared that if he didn't make $1 million by 35, he'd jump off Omaha's tallest building. Thankfully, he found better ways to build wealth. A curious child, Buffett looked for insights everywhere. He collected bottle caps to determine the most popular soda, likely confirming Coke's dominance. He also recorded car license plates near a bank, believing the info would be useful if a robbery occurred, perhaps his first attempt at cornering a market. Buffett loved numbers. He analyzed composers' lifespans to see if religious hymn writers lived longer but found no advantage. At Omaha's Benson Library, he devoured books. One stood out, 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. Realizing that $1,000 multiplied by itself equaled $1 million, he saw a faster path than selling 50 million packs of gum. Buffett's book emphasized a key message: success starts with action. Published in 1936, it argued that starting a business with little capital had never been easier. Today, with the internet, it's at least 10 times easier, but the lesson remains the same. You must start. By age 11, Buffett had saved $120, worth over $2,100 today. Understanding compound interest, he wanted to get his money working. He invested nearly everything in city service stock, even convincing his sister Doris to join in. The stock immediately dropped. Doris teased him daily, and when it finally rose slightly, Buffett sold for a small $5 profit. Soon after, the stock skyrocketed to $202 per share. Buffett's 5 years of savings could have turned into $492, an unforgettable early lesson in patience and long-term thinking. In 1943, Warren's father, Howard Buffett, was elected congressman, forcing the family to move to Washington. Warren hated it and convinced his parents to send him back to Omaha to live with his grandfather, Ernest. On weekends, Buffett worked at his grandfather's grocery store, later admitting, "I may have been the lowest paid person in the grocery business. I didn't learn anything, except that I didn't like hard work." Ernest had a quirky side. He even wrote a book titled How to Run a Grocery Store and a Few Things I Learned About Fishing. But Warren's biggest influence came from his father, a stockbroker and politician. His Omaha return was short-lived, and by late 1943, Warren was back in Washington. Still unhappy, he found solace in making money, delivering newspapers across multiple routes. By 1944, at age 14, Buffett had saved $1,000, about $14,795 in today's money, and even filed his first tax return. He cheekily deducted his bicycle and wristwatch, paying $7 in taxes. By 16, he was earning $175 a month, nearly half the salary of an engineer at the time, $392 a month. While still in high school, he was essentially working a full-time job. Despite his growing bank account, Buffett wasn't as lucky in the romance department. Like many before him, he thought the answer was weightlifting. Inspired by Strength and Health magazine, he bought dumbbells and a barbell for the family basement. Unfortunately, no matter how many curls he did, his arms didn't get much bigger. By 15, Buffett had doubled his savings to $2,000 and made a bold move. He spent 60% of his net worth to buy a 40-acre farm in Nebraska. A tenant farmer worked the land, and Buffett simply collected profits, something he much preferred over his grocery store days. 5 years later, in 1950, he sold the farm for double what he paid, all while earning income from it the whole time. Reading 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000 sparked a new business idea. The book suggested buying weighing scales and reinvesting profits to buy more. While Buffett never bought scales, he loved the compounding growth concept. Instead, he and his friend Don Danley started a pinball machine business. Warren bought used machines for $25 each. New ones cost $300. Don repaired them and placed them in barbershops and split profits with the barbers. Buffett and Danley convinced barbers that repairing pinball machines was a rare skill, ensuring they wouldn't try to compete. Their plan worked, and they built a small pinball business that made them well known in high school. Before graduating, Buffett sold the business for $1,200. Despite his entrepreneurial success, Buffett was set on finance. His high school yearbook labeled him a future stockbroker, showing where his real passion lay. In 1947, he enrolled at Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. He didn't want to go, believing it would slow him down, but his father insisted. His favorite class, Industry 101, covered business operations in industries like textiles, steel, and petroleum. After his father lost re-election in 1948, the family moved back to Omaha. Buffett transferred to the University of Nebraska for his final year, where he studied accounting, which he later called the language of business. He believed every serious investor had to master it. At fraternity parties, Buffett was shy and avoided small talk. He disliked discussions about drinking or relationships, but often attracted students eager to hear him speak about stocks, money, and business. By age 19, Buffett had read every investment book he could find, including New Methods for Profit in the Stock Market and Technical Analysis of Stock Market Trends. He experimented with technical analysis and candlestick charts, but later realized these methods were unreliable. Buffett once tried being a trader, but that phase ended in 1949 when he discovered The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. The book introduced three key ideas. 1. Intrinsic value. A stock represents real business value. 2. Mr. Market. Stock prices fluctuate irrationally. Smart investors stay objective. 3. Margin of safety. Always buy stocks at a discount to reduce risk. This changed Buffett's approach. He began studying companies obsessively, reading Moody's and S&P manuals, even researching tiny firms in the pink sheets. This deep knowledge became his greatest asset. Buffett struggled as a student until his father threatened to cut off his newspaper route income. He later aimed for Harvard Business School but was rejected, one of the best setbacks of his life. Instead, he applied to Columbia, where his idol, Benjamin Graham, taught. Despite applying late, he was accepted without an interview. Arriving with $12,500, Buffett had already mastered Graham's security analysis before class even began. Graham's lessons included real-world investment examples, which students quickly acted on, frustrating his business partner. Despite this, the Graham-Newman Fund outperformed the Dow for 20 years. Buffett finally found classes that excited him. Despite average grades in high school, he became the first student to earn an A+ in Benjamin Graham's course, cementing his reputation as Graham's best student. While at Columbia, Buffett discovered that Graham was chairman of GEICO, an insurance company that would later become his most successful investment. In January 1951, he traveled to GEICO's headquarters, where Lorimer Davidson, an executive, spent 4 hours teaching him about the insurance business. Convinced of its potential, Buffett invested 65% of his net worth in GEICO. The stock rose 50% in 1952, but he sold it to buy Western Insurance Securities, a company trading at a PE ratio just above 1, a deal he couldn't ignore. Buffett struggled with dating. Girls weren't into Mr. Market talk. But in 1950, his sister set him up with Susie Thompson, who was already dating Milton Brown. Lucky for Buffett, Susie's father disapproved of Milton. Buffett won over both Susie and her dad, sealing the deal in 1951. They married in 1952, and Buffett spent 6% of his net worth on the ring, his best investment. Even on their honeymoon, he packed Moody's manuals to read. After graduating, Buffett wanted to work for Benjamin Graham, but was rejected due to Graham's policy of hiring only Jewish candidates. So, in 1951, Buffett returned to Omaha to work at his father's brokerage, a job he disliked. Buffett hated being a broker. It felt like selling pills rather than actually helping clients. Plus, at 21 years old, he wasn't taken seriously. In 1952, he completed a Dale Carnegie public speaking course, calling it his most valuable degree. To practice, he taught investing at the University of Nebraska and later expanded his classes to include women. From 1951 to 1954, Buffett sent stock tips to Graham Newman, and after 3 years, he finally got hired in 1954, becoming their first non-Jewish employee. His salary? $1,000 per month. He excelled but declined, taking over the fund in 1956, so Graham Newman shut down, leading Buffett to start his own partnerships. At 26, Buffett had $174,000 $25,000 and moved back to Omaha, considering retirement. But his idea of retiring, managing investments for others. In 1956, at 25, he launched Buffett Associates Ltd. with $105,000 from 7 family and friends. He invested just $100 himself. By 1962, he merged his partnerships into one with a 6% preferred return and a 25% profit share. Withdrawals only in December, and he kept his investment secret to prevent price inflation. Some skeptics in Omaha thought it was a Ponzi scheme, but from 1957 to 1961, Buffett beat the Dow by 16% annually, compounding to 177% growth. By the end of 1961, Buffett managed 10 partnerships, including one with his father. His reputation as an asset manager was growing rapidly. Buffett applied Benjamin Graham's method of buying extremely cheap companies, comparing them to discarded cigar butts that still had one last puff of value. He searched for undervalued stocks using Moody's manuals, pink sheets, and the National Quotation Book. These stocks often had market capitalizations between $1 million and $10 million, which would be equivalent to $8 million to $80 million today. Many of them were so illiquid that Buffett had to personally meet with shareholders to negotiate price. One of Buffett's early successes was his investment in Sanborn Map between 1958 and 1960. The company's stock was trading at $45 per share, even though it held $65 worth of blue chip securities on its balance sheet. The business itself was struggling as insurance companies were experimenting with new underwriting techniques, but it remained cash flow positive and paid a dividend. At this price, investors were essentially getting the Sanborn business for free while also receiving $20 worth of blue chip stocks. Buffett invested 35% of his partnership's money into Sanborn Map, earning a 50% return over 2 years. This investment approach set the foundation for Buffett's future success. Buffett invested in Dempster Mill, a struggling farm equipment company, in 1961 when its stock was $30 per share but had a book value of $75. He acquired 73% of the company, sold off assets to improve efficiency, and later sold it in 1963 for $80 per share, earning a 185% return. Buffett's obsession with investing often kept him distant from family. Even at Disneyland, he sat reading while his kids played. His wife, Susie, managed household needs, ensuring his comfort. In 1959, Buffett met Charlie Munger, a lawyer and avid reader. They connected instantly, and Munger later became vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. He pushed Buffett to focus on quality businesses rather than just cheap stocks. Before meeting Charlie Munger, Buffett focused on buying mediocre companies at cheap prices. Munger convinced him to prioritize great companies at fair prices, a strategy that led Buffett to investments in See's Candies and Coca-Cola. By 1962, Buffett consolidated his multiple investment partnerships into Buffett Partnership Ltd., managing $7.2 million in assets. His personal stake, alongside Susie's, reached $1,025,000, making him a millionaire at age 31. Warren Buffett's journey to becoming a millionaire by 31 is a testament to patience, discipline, and an unshakable focus on value. From delivering newspapers as a child to managing millions, he remained committed to learning, adapting, and making smart investments. His shift from buying cheap, struggling companies to investing in great businesses at fair prices, thanks to Charlie Munger's influence, set the foundation for his long-term success. Buffett's story is a reminder that wealth isn't built overnight. It takes years of persistence, the right mindset, and a willingness to evolve. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or refining your investment strategy, his principles still hold true today. Stay curious, think long-term, and never stop learning. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights on investing and success. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.